On a sweltering summer day, June 14th, 1800, the fate of Europe hung in the balance near the village of Marengo in northern Italy. Napoleon Bonaparte, the ambitious first consul of France, faced a formidable Austrian army led by the experienced General Michael von Melas. The Battle of Marengo, as it would be known, was more than just a clash of armies. It was a pivotal moment in Napoleon's meteoric rise to power and a turning point in the Napoleonic Wars that would engulf Europe for years to come. The stakes were high for both sides. Napoleon, having recently seized power in France, was eager to consolidate his position and prove his military genius on the European stage. Victory at Marengo would solidify his control over Italy, a strategically vital region, and send a message of French dominance to the rest of Europe. For the Austrians, defeating Napoleon was crucial to halting the spread of revolutionary France's influence and restoring the old order. The road to Marengo was paved with ambition, intrigue, and the fog of war. Napoleon, with characteristic boldness, had led his army of the reserve across the Alps in a daring maneuver, surprising the Austrians and cutting off their lines of communication. The stage was set for a confrontation that would shape the destiny of nations. The Battle of Marengo began not with a French advance, but with a fierce Austrian assault that caught the French army off guard. General Melas, believing Napoleon to be further away, launched a surprise attack early in the morning, aiming to crush the French forces before they could fully deploy. The initial Austrian onslaught was met with determined French resistance, but the advantage of surprise lay with Melas's troops. Austrian cavalry crashed into French lines, their sabres flashing in the morning sun. The sound of musket fire filled the air as volleys of lead were exchanged at close range. French units, outnumbered and outmaneuvered, fought bravely but were forced to give ground under the relentless Austrian pressure. The situation looked dire for Napoleon. As the morning wore on, the French lines began to crumble. Units that had been fighting valiantly for hours began to retreat in disarray, pursued relentlessly by the jubilant Austrians. Melas, sensing victory, was convinced that he had broken the back of the French army. What he did not know was that Napoleon was nearby and about to make his presence felt on the battlefield. The arrival of Napoleon Bonaparte on the battlefield at Marengo was a turning point in the battle. His presence, always an inspiration to his troops, had an electrifying effect on the demoralized French soldiers. Napoleon, with his keen military eye, quickly assessed the dire situation and began issuing orders to stabilize the front and rally his retreating forces. One of Napoleon's greatest strengths as a military commander was his ability to inspire his troops and instill in them a belief in their own invincibility. He rode among his men, rallying them with passionate speeches and reminding them of their past victories. His presence alone was often enough to turn the tide of battle. Napoleon's arrival at Marengo was no exception. With the French lines on the verge of collapse, Napoleon ordered a desperate counterattack to buy time for reinforcements to arrive. He rallied his remaining cavalry and infantry, urging them to fight with the courage and tenacity that had become the hallmark of the French army. The French soldiers, inspired by their leader's presence and determined to prove their mettle, fought back with renewed vigor, slowing the Austrian advance. As the afternoon wore on and the battle raged, a critical turning point arrived with the arrival of General Louis Desaix and his fresh division of troops. Desaix, a close friend and trusted subordinate of Napoleon, had marched his troops at breakneck speed to reinforce the beleaguered French army. Their timely arrival would prove to be decisive. Napoleon, recognizing the opportunity presented by Desaix's fresh troops, devised a daring plan to catch the overconfident Austrians off guard. He ordered Desaix to launch a counterattack against the Austrian center, which had become stretched thin in their pursuit of the retreating French. The element of surprise was crucial to Napoleon's plan. At approximately 6 p.m., as the sun began to set over the battlefield, Desaix unleashed his division in a furious assault against the Austrian lines. The Austrian troops, exhausted from hours of fighting and believing victory to be within their grasp, were caught completely by surprise. The French, their morale reinvigorated by the arrival of reinforcements, fought with unmatched ferocity. Section 5. The aftermath of victory, Marengo's impact on Europe. The Battle of Marengo ended in a decisive French victory, solidifying Napoleon's control over Italy and sending shockwaves throughout Europe. The Austrian army, thoroughly routed, was forced to retreat, leaving Napoleon in control of the battlefield and the surrounding territory. The victory had profound consequences for both Napoleon's career and the future of Europe. In the immediate aftermath of the battle, Napoleon moved swiftly to consolidate his gain. He signed the Armistice of Alessandria with the Austrians, which forced them to evacuate Lombardy and withdraw from the war in Italy. The victory at Marengo, coupled with the earlier French victory at Hohenlinden, effectively ended Austria's participation in the War of the Second Coalition against France. The news of the French victory at Marengo was met with jubilation in Paris. Napoleon, hailed as a conquering hero, saw his popularity soar to new heights. The victory solidified his grip on power and paved the way for his eventual proclamation as Emperor of the French in 1804. Marengo had transformed Napoleon from a successful general into a national icon, the savior of France. Section 6. Napoleon the Master Tactician, Lessons Learned and Applied. The Battle of Marengo stands as a testament to Napoleon Bonaparte's military genius and his ability to adapt to rapidly changing circumstances on the battlefield. It was a battle that Napoleon, by his own admission, had almost lost, but one which he ultimately won through a combination of tactical brilliance, inspirational leadership, and a bit of luck. The lessons he learned at Marengo would serve him well in future campaigns. One of the key takeaways from Marengo was the importance of maintaining reserves and keeping a clear head, even when facing seemingly insurmountable odds. Despite being caught off guard by the initial Austrian attack, Napoleon never panicked. He kept a cool head, rallied his troops, and used his limited reserves judiciously to slow the Austrian advance and buy time for reinforcements to arrive. Marengo also highlighted the importance of battlefield communication and the need for clear lines of command. The timely arrival of Desailly's division was crucial to the French victory, but it was only possible because Napoleon had established clear lines of communication and ensured that his subordinates were aware of his overall strategy. Effective communication allowed Napoleon to coordinate his forces effectively and exploit opportunities as they arose. Section 7. The spoils of war consolidating power and prestige. The victory at Marengo had far-reaching consequences for Napoleon's political career and for the balance of power in Europe. It consolidated his grip on power in France, enhanced his reputation as a military genius, and allowed him to dictate terms to his enemies. Napoleon, never one to let an opportunity slip away, was quick to capitalize on his triumph. Domestically, Marengo silenced Napoleon's critics and solidified his position as first consul of France. The victory, coming at a time when France was still reeling from the turmoil of the French Revolution, provided a much-needed sense of national unity and pride. Napoleon, hailed as the savior of France, used his newfound popularity to consolidate his power and push through a series of reforms that centralized authority in his hands. Internationally, Marengo forced Austria to sue for peace, effectively ending the War of the Second Coalition. The Treaty of Luneville, signed in February 1801, formally recognized French control over Italy and the Rhineland, significantly expanding French territory and influence. Napoleon had established himself as the arbiter of European affairs, a position he would hold for the next decade. Section 8. A legacy cemented Marengo's place in history. The Battle of Marengo, fought over 2 centuries ago, continues to captivate historians and military enthusiasts alike. It stands as a testament to Napoleon Bonaparte's military genius, his ability to snatch victory from the jaws of defeat, and his profound impact on the course of European history. The battle itself, a close-run affair with moments of both brilliance and sheer luck, offers valuable lessons in leadership, strategy, and the unpredictable nature of warfare. Marengo marked a turning point in the Napoleonic Wars, solidifying French dominance in Europe and paving the way for Napoleon's eventual proclamation as Emperor of the French. The victory shattered the myth of Austrian invincibility and sent a clear message to the rest of Europe. Napoleon Bonaparte was a force to be reckoned with, and France was once again a major power on the world stage. The battle also had a profound impact on the development of military thought and tactics. Napoleon's use of artillery, his emphasis on mobility and maneuver, and his ability to inspire his troops all left an indelible mark on the art of warfare. Marengo serves as a reminder that even the most carefully laid plans can go awry, and that victory often hinges on a commander's ability to adapt to unforeseen circumstances. Section 9. The importance of Marengo in understanding Napoleon. To truly understand Napoleon Bonaparte, the man who would become the Emperor of the French and one of the most influential figures in European history, one must understand the significance of the Battle of Marengo. This battle, fought at a pivotal moment in his career, reveals much about his character, his military genius, and his ambition. Marengo demonstrated Napoleon's ability to remain calm under pressure, to think strategically even when facing tactical setbacks, and to inspire his troops to achieve the seemingly impossible. It was a victory that was hard-fought, one that could have easily slipped from his grasp, but one that ultimately cemented his reputation as a brilliant military commander. The victory at Marengo also highlights Napoleon's political acumen and his understanding of the importance of propaganda. He recognized the symbolic value of the victory, using it to bolster his position in France and to project an image of French strength and invincibility across Europe. Marengo was not just a military victory, it was a political masterstroke. Section 10. Learning from the past. Marengo's enduring relevance. More than 2 centuries after the last muskets fell silent at Marengo, the battle continues to hold relevance for modern audiences. It serves as a reminder of the human cost of war, the fragility of peace, and the enduring power of leadership, courage, and determination in the face of adversity. The lessons learned on that blood-soaked field in northern Italy continue to resonate today. Marengo reminds us that victory in war is often a product of chance, circumstance, and the courage of individuals. It was a battle that could have gone either way, one decided by a few crucial decisions, a few strokes of luck, and the bravery of soldiers on both sides. It underscores the unpredictable nature of conflict and the importance of human factors in determining the outcome of battles. Perhaps the most important lesson to be drawn from Marengo is the enduring need for diplomacy and dialogue in resolving international disputes. The Napoleonic Wars, of which Marengo was a pivotal battle, were a period of immense bloodshed and upheaval in Europe. They serve as a stark reminder of the human cost of conflict and the need to seek peaceful solutions whenever possible.